Welcome back to another video. So today we are back to review the new JJK chapter 237. It leaked last night and we're going to be going over the leaked stuff, the leaked panels, and the leaked translations from the community. And so this chapter is basically continuing the KASHIMO versus Sukuna fight. So we're getting into that fight. And so far, it's pretty sick. Like, I ain't gonna lie. KASHIMO's about to get cooked, but at least he's been doing his thing. I ain't gonna lie, he gonna put in his hits. I feel like next chapter he's also gonna do something crazy, and it's gonna be cool to see. But let's get into the chapter. Also, let me know down below what you think about KASHIMO. If you think KASHIMO's gonna beat Sukuna, or you think Sukuna's gonna just fucking mollywash KASHIMO. Like, do you think he's gonna get a hit in? Like, let me know what you think down below. But the chapter begins with KASHIMO getting onto the battlefield like we saw last chapter, immediately getting in. And as soon as he gets in, he actually looks up in the sky and sees like this thing in the sky. And I was looking at it, I was like, what is this? And it's a giant ice pillar, and the person on top of the ice pillar is Urumi, and they're actually like riding down the ice pillar trying to give Sukuna something. And as soon as that happens, Urumi looks up and sees that it's freaking Hikari basically about to jump Urumi with like his domain expansion, and immediately activates the domain expansion, putting them inside the spear, the domain expansion spear. And I'm telling you right now, I think Hikari is going to wash Urumi. I love Hikari. I think Hikari is one of the coolest characters in the show that was introduced like really late. We knew about him for a while, but then as soon as he got introduced, Hikari has been one of my favorite characters, and after he fought KASHIMO, so that was definitely really nice to see. So I'm hoping Hikari washes Urumi, and unless he just gets unlucky, because he activated his domain expansion, so unless he just gets unlucky, he should win the fight. So I'm really hoping that happens, because I want to see Hikari body Urumi. And so that happens, and Urumi's not really like, we don't really think Urumi's tripping about it, because Urumi's whole point of being there was to drop off a thing. And what came out of the ice was actually a cursed tool from Yorzuru that she made when it was at the end of her life. And it's a crystal called Kamatoki, I believe that's how it's pronounced. The effect is actually, it shoots electricity. And so Sukuna like uses it to actually like shoot electricity blast at KASHIMO. And then I don't know why Sukuna did that, because Sukuna should have really realized at this point that KASHIMO is electricity guy. Like, it doesn't make sense that electricity would work on a person that uses electricity. Then again, Jogo did get affected by fire, I believe, in the Shibuya arc, and he controls fire. So I guess he wanted to try it out, see like if KASHIMO was that type of person, but not. KASHIMO is like completely like immune to electricity attack. So Sukuna doesn't really use it like that. And they actually have a conversation. KASHIMO asks Sukuna, did you become the strongest, or were you the strongest as you were born? And then Sukuna says, I'm not sure. At the very least, I was an unwanted child. And then KASHIMO was like, without knowing weakness, how do you associate with others? How do you show affection to others? It was not something that I was able to do. Anything other than me was nothing than a feeble bunch of dirt. So KASHIMO's trying to basically get like philosophical with Sukuna, trying to ask him like, were you always the strongest, or did you become the strongest? And how does it feel to be lonely? Because in KASHIMO's era, he was the strongest person in that era, and he was lonely. He didn't have anyone he could feel affection towards, or anybody he can get close with, anyone that was friends with. Everyone else was just below him, and he felt the loneliness of being the strongest. And Sukuna and Gojo have kind of talked about that, especially in their fight, especially Gojo talking about how it feels to be lonely because he's the strongest, especially at his death's door. And Sukuna doesn't really give him an answer. He just says like, you're really asking a lot of questions. Even Gojo was something like that, like, I don't really care about that, like, let's just keep fighting. And so KASHIMO charges at Sukuna and actually tries to hit him on top of the head. And then right after that, KASHIMO actually activates finally his curse technique. Because remember, he's never activated his curse technique. He said he's saving it for Sukuna. That's why he didn't use it against Hikari. And this is his curse technique. And the translation for it is Mythical Beast Ember. And so far with the chapter, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it. This is really compared to like 8th Gate's guy. So when he activates his curse technique, a bunch of electricity starts to go over his body, and it kind of makes him more like beast-like. And the narrator says that his curse technique allows his body, his entire body, being covered in electricity. It increases his electricity signals to his brain, so he has a higher reaction time. It makes him faster, it makes him stronger, but it's basically putting him past peak beyond human. So we don't know actually how strong KASHIMO is right now. He could be number 3. He could be stronger. He could be like right below Gojo and Sukuna. We don't know. at this point in time. But he's putting the hands on Sukuna, right? He's putting the hands on him, like actually getting hits in, knocking him back. Like I'm actually surprised. Like I thought Sukuna was gonna be able to like block one of his hits or whatever, but he's not been able to really do a lot. He's been just dodging, trying to weave, and getting hit. And so the narrator actually explains, it says electromagnetic waves that evaporate things that are exposed to it. So I'm assuming any type of blast that this form does would evaporate most things. I don't think it's gonna evaporate Sukuna, because Sukuna's just that strong and has a strong body, so I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think like they're saying that a normal person basically would get evaporated by Kashimo's ability. And also Kashimo's body has surpassed like the limits of beyond a human, and it also says that this ability is basically like the 8 gates from Naruto, that after the technique has finished, Kashimo's body will crumble. So this is like ride or die move. That's why he didn't use it earlier and was saving it for Sukuna, because Kashimo doesn't really care to live. Like his whole purpose is that he wants to fight someone that makes him not feel lonely, and he feels true happiness from being in a fight to the death with someone that's either stronger than him or he feels they're on the same level to where he can really get that excitement. So he saved this technique for Sukuna and basically is using it. If he wins the fight, he's happy. If he loses the fight, he's still gonna be happy because he got to use his final ability and got to go all full out. So that's gonna happen. So sadly, Kashimo's definitely gonna die some way in this fight. Either Sukuna's gonna kill him or his body's gonna kill him. That's very sad to see, but at least I'm hoping that Kashimo's able to get some more hits in, because he got some hits in this chapter. I was very surprised when he was actually like putting the hands on Sukuna, but sadly, it kind of doesn't matter, because right when that happened, there's like this big like orb, I think, and Sukuna starts to transform, and he actually like turns back into his like old version of himself back in his era with the 4 arms and shit. And I'm saying it looks pretty cool, I ain't gonna lie. They're calling it the reincarnation, so I think Megami is cooked, because I don't know that much about the reincarnation of JJK. So if someone can talk about it in the comment section, please tell me, or any of y'all theories. But if you reincarnate with someone's body, aren't they cooked? Like their soul is cooked? Like is Megami cooked? Because he's not using Megami's body anymore, right? It's his old version of his body. So that does that mean he's taken over Megami's body entirely and Megami can't come back? Like he's cooked? Or some people are saying that Megami might just be on the floor or something, but he might be cooked at this point. And maybe also the reason he hasn't done this and why he didn't use it during the fight with Gojo, because maybe he also loses the 10 shadows technique if he reincarnates, because he doesn't have the person's like original body. Maybe he didn't reincarnate fighting Gojo because he would lose the 10 shadows technique, because curse techniques are in the body. That's what I'm like learning more and more and more, is like curse techniques are part of the body and the soul, and then curse technique activations like in the brain. So if he used his old body, he wouldn't be able to use the 10 shadows, I'm assuming. That's what I'm thinking. So that's probably why he didn't change into this form when he was fighting Gojo, and only turned into it after he beat Gojo, after he learned how to use the space-time slash, and after he learned that, and he only needed to use that for basically Gojo, and he knows how to do the space-time slash now. He doesn't need Maharaga anymore to show him the manual. So maybe that's why he didn't change back into old era, even though he could. I also heard another theory, I think it was from Six, because I was watching the Six, and his name is Mir, M-E-R-E-E. He makes JJK content, and he did a live stream last night with Six, and they were both saying last night that maybe Sukuna also didn't transform into his old version of his era, because it looks like he's fully healed. Like if you look at his body, I can't really, I'm gonna show the Sukuna panel, but everything else I can't really show because I don't want to get this video cooked. But in the panel, you see that his body is basically healed. Like it's back to being in full condition. He has all his arms, he has no scruff marks on his body. So maybe it was also a one-time healing. Like what Six said is that he said it's like maybe a one-time senzu bean. So maybe that's why he didn't want to transform into his old body, which I think makes a lot of sense, because one, he would lose the 10 shadows technique, and then also it would be his one-time healing. If Sukuna was fighting the gauntlet, like imagine he was in a boss fight with all the people in JJK, and him going back into his old body would be his one heal, his one senzu bean, and so that's why he didn't want to use it. And I think that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense when I heard about it. So make sure y'all definitely go check them out and subscribe to them. They make really good JJK content. But this is really cool. We get to see the old Sukuna And there's not gonna be a break next week, so we're gonna see old Sukuna versus basically 8th Gate's Kashimo. I'm definitely very excited for how that's gonna end. Let me know what you think down below. Do you think Kashimo's actually gonna be able to put some good damage on old Sukuna body? Like, do you think he's gonna actually put the brakes on him with this 8th Gate's form, or do you think that Kashimo's gonna get cooked? Let me know what you think, what's gonna happen between Hikari and Urumi. And that's basically everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you guys for watching the video. Leave a like, subscribe, make sure more content like this, and hit that bell post consistently. I'm very, very excited. I definitely I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping Kashimo does good, because I really do like Kashimo, and I hope Hikari washes Urumi. Really don't want Hikari to lose to Urumi. I'll be really, really sad. But I'm gonna see you guys later. Peace.